Let's see if I catch you guys slipping.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
You saw the title. We're talking about Lonnie Walker. Yes, the Lonnie Walker. And honestly, I'll be real with you. He is giving me the biggest migraine. Trying to think whether or not the San Antonio Spurs should keep Lonnie Walker. It just gives me the biggest headache imaginable. So this is what I decided to do. I'm going to go through some of the old polls that I asked you guys about Lonnie Walker. We're going to see what the main consensus is, if you guys are consistent or not with your assessment, and then I'll just give you my overall thoughts on Lonnie Walker and whether or not the Spurs should keep him. Because I'll be honest with you guys, my opinion has swayed this entire season, but I really think I need to just stick with a point and just roll with it, because at this point, I'm getting a headache. All right, so let's go through this. So I asked you guys about Lonnie Walker quite a few times, and we're going to look at least 9 instances in which I asked you about Lonnie Walker, or at least he was one of the multiple choice options. So this first question, do you want Lonnie Walker to stay? This is the most recent, and we have 66, which I expect this. 66% said yes, only 10% said no, and 24% said not sure yet. So you guys are not 100% sold on it completely, but I will say nearly 70% saying, yeah, keep him. I feel like that would have been different earlier in the season. So let's just go back a few more months, if not probably just weeks, but let's go through this. So, all right, so we got 66% on yes on that one. Then we scroll down. Now I said game on the line, game winning 3. Who do you go to? Lonnie Walker got the least amount of votes, to the point where Josh Primo was over Lonnie Walker, in which you guys trust Josh Primo more than you did Lonnie Walker with the game on the line, and you needed 3. Which, sure, that's fine. That's fine. Look, I love me some Josh Primo, okay? I'm not going to yell at anybody for choosing Josh Primo over Lonnie Walker. But I will say, if we're talking about who has the most experience or who we've seen do it in the NBA thus far, I mean, Lonnie Walker has done it. Like, he's come up clutch a few times before. But hey, neither here nor there. I'm not going to yell at you for that. All right, let's go to the next one. We have, would you keep Lonnie Walker on next season's roster? Now, this is very similar to the other question I asked, in which this is quite different, isn't it? This is quite different. I'm going to assume that you guys, if you weren't sure, you just didn't answer anything, because there was no option for that. I'm just going to assume you didn't pick one of the two. But yeah, now we have 58% yes and 42% no. That's pretty significant. And that was only 2 weeks ago. So you can kind of see that the opinion of Lonnie Walker has swayed quite a bit throughout the season, going from basically 70% to 60% yes. That's a pretty big shift. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so we have, who's your favorite current Spur? I don't think this one's that significant. DeJounte Murray's, nearly 70%. But once again, Lonnie Walker is the least voted character out of the group, okay? Out of our cast, he is the least favorite character. All right, so 4% for Lonnie. Josh Primo got a 10. So, but I was expecting DeJounte Murray to get that. I was actually thinking about not putting him on this list at all, because I felt like he would just overpower everybody, which he did. All right, next question. Etsy, which player has the highest ceiling? Josh Primo with 54%, Lonnie Walker with 4. Okay, that's pretty bad. Once again, I'm not gonna yell at anybody. Okay, I completely look. I love Josh Primo. I would have voted Josh Primo too. Okay, don't get me wrong, but man, I mean, 4%, huh? 4%. And the thing is, I'm actually shocked that DeJounte didn't get a higher percentage. But looking at Lonnie Walker, I was definitely surprised it was that low. And keeping in mind that all of these votes, like how many people are voting, that's 1.3K. Like that's that's a decent sample size. Okay, that's not just a small sample size. I think you could take that sample size and make a pretty good judgment of what Spurs fans think in general. All right, let's go to the next one. Is it time to move on from Lonnie Walker? 47% said yes. 53% said no. I'm actually curious what that would look like if I asked that again. All right. Should Spurs re-sign Lonnie Walker? As you guys see, you can see that I've been I've been asking quite a bit. But around this time, I think Lonnie Walker was doing fairly well. And here we go. This is before the trade and all that. So 77% said yes. So you can see that it's pretty all over the place. This one is kind of insignificant. We don't have to worry about that one. Who should be the team sixth man? Lonnie Walker was 25%. At the time, we had Derek White, which he was at 52%. Sample size not as big. And yeah, so Lonnie got some of the love there. So look, we went through some of that. I asked way more, but I don't want to go through every single one. Basically, the main consensus when it comes to Lonnie Walker is majority of fans kind of want him, but it kind of seems like a lot of people would be okay with him not being here. And out of the group, out of the main core, he's kind of the least favorite as far as people expecting anything from him at this point. And I won't blame anybody for that. It is on Lonnie Walker because he has been inconsistent, in which we don't know what we're getting. But let me go ahead and give you my thoughts. Now, there's been a lot of articles going around about our boy, Lonnie Walker, obviously, because he's doing so well. Actually, you asked me how well he's doing. Well, let me tell you. So over the past few games, specifically, okay, I'm going to go ahead and point this out right now. After the Derek White trade, he has been pretty phenomenal. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, we have 21 points, 17 points, 23 points, 22 points. And these aren't just weak points. These aren't just like, oh, you know, these are easy points he's coming by. No, he is creating his own shot. He is making this happen. This isn't a whole bunch of setup from Lonnie. This is Lonnie at his peak right now. And I think that this is what we can kind of expect from him going forward. I don't blame Derek White at all. I guess it's just one of those things where let's just be honest, okay? When it comes to Lonnie Walker, he is a ball handler. Like, that's what he likes. He likes the ball in his hands. And when you have Derek White, who is such a good facilitator, he's going to take away touches. Like, he's just naturally going to do that. Because he's a point guard. And Lonnie Walker, his playing style, we don't know what he is. Like, oh, is he a scorer? Is he a facilitator? Well, he's a little bit of both. And when Derek White leaves, it gives Lonnie Walker maybe even more confidence, or he really wants to take it up a gear because he knows contract time coming up. So, but going forward, let's just go ahead and look at this. So 22 points, 23 points, 17 points, 21 points. And what I think is the most significant, I would look at the amount that he's shooting and the amount that he's making. I mean, 8 for 14, you can't ask for better than that in the NBA. 4 for 6 from 3, good lord, dude. 9 for 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, pretty doggone good. 6 for 16, not the best. Okay, you can definitely do better. You can definitely do better there. 2 for 7 from 3, yeah, you can definitely do better. That's not good. That's no bueno. But going down once again, 9 for 17, 53%. 2 for 4 from 3, 50%. So offensively, he is doing his thing. Like, he has been on a tear over these last few games, specifically, as I said, after the trade. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been spots throughout this season in which he has looked well. I think this is around the time that I asked you guys about Lonnie, and a big majority wanted him on the team. Well, it's because he was doing so well during that month. So overall, what I'm trying to say is he has been inconsistent, but as of late, as of this last month or so, he has been the Lonnie Walker that we need him to be or expect him to be. So what are my overall thoughts on Lonnie? Should we keep Lonnie Walker? Should we get rid of Lonnie Walker? I'm going to stick with this. I think Lonnie Walker, as is constructed right now, I think he can stay on the team because he is starting to show that old Houston Rockets Lonnie Walker that we saw, that spark. But now we're getting it on a more consistent basis, at least this last month. And I'm not going to go back on this, okay? I think that the Spurs should keep him. I've been up and down on this. My thoughts on Lonnie Walker has been all over the place, and rightfully so. I'm not even going to blame myself for that. But one thing that I went back and looked at, and this is what made me just go ahead and completely just say, yes, keep him. And the most I will pay him is, I mean, look, it's not coming out of my pockets, right? I mean, shut up, Clan. I would honestly give him about 10. Okay, that would be my max, probably like about 8 to 10 million. a year. And I think the Spurs will be perfectly fine with that. And I think that he will give us enough, especially coming off the bench, where he'll merit that amount. But this is what kind of got me to go ahead and go with my official opinion that the Spurs should just keep Lonnie Walker. Is this. So I went back to DeJounte Murray, okay? And as you guys know, I was not the hugest person on DeJounte Murray. Like, while all the fans loved DeJounte at the time, you know, me being in the here and now, I continuously said, oh, no, well, Derek White's the better player. Obviously, I kept saying that I do believe DeJounte Murray has the biggest potential. But when someone asked me who's the better player at the time, I'm just going to say who's the best player at the time. But the way that we are right now and how the Spurs are trying to figure out who's going to be the guy, and we're basically drafting off of potential, and we're basically just saying, let's get as much potential on the team as possible, and maybe some flower will bloom. Well, when I look at it in that perspective, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, keep him. Now, the reason why I brought up DeJounte Murray is because I wanted to look at the third season that DeJounte Murray had. And in his third season, he had nearly 11 points. Obviously, steals were great, okay? But overall, it was okay. 11 points, about 26 minutes per game, 46 field, and 37% from three. And then I went at Lonnie Walker. And I went at Lonnie Walker's third year. Now, don't get me wrong, his third and fourth year are very similar, and maybe that could be kind of a hit on him. But I don't want to give him that hit, only because this past season, he's gotten less minutes than before. But his third season in the league, he's averaging nearly the same. The only thing that's different is steals column, which obviously DeJounte Murray is a better defender than Lonnie. But Lonnie has been playing well defensively as well, even though the stats might not show it. But overall, I mean, we're looking at 11 points. DeJounte had 10.9. So we're looking at 11.2 compared to 10.9. Field goal percentage, we're looking at 42% from the field compared to 45% from the field from DeJounte. We're looking at 35.5% from three in comparison to 36.9. That's much better, actually. 36.9 from three. But overall, as you can see, your boy Lonnie Walker takes way more threes than DeJounte did. And, so just overall, I'm just trying to see, okay, how do I compare these two? And even if I want to jump into this year, Lonnie Walker has not had the best of years, but the year previous, he started way more games, and now he's only started 6. He's been put in so many different positions while being with the Spurs, till I'm starting to think that it would be very unfair for me to just completely just get rid of the idea of keeping Lonnie Walker, because overall the potential is still there. He's not costing the team a bunch of money. It's not like he's getting in the way, which we say this all the time, especially with like veteran players. He's not getting in the way of anybody else's minutes necessarily. Like, he's still a developing player himself. But overall, I'm liking the way that he's finishing. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him over the past month since, the trade deadline. And overall, he's been fairly successful with us. And a lot of these stats this season, and the reason why I didn't want to focus on it too much, is because his role has changed so drastically. But overall, man, I like what I'm seeing with how the team is constructed right now going forward. And I think it will be very mean and a little cruel on my part if I didn't just go ahead and sit back and say, you know what, why don't we give Lonnie Walker the same benefit of the doubt that we gave DeJounte Murray? And given that benefit of the doubt, obviously DeJounte Murray took some big steps over the past couple seasons, and Lonnie Walker, he is not in the same predicament as DeJounte Murray was in. I would say he's in a more difficult predicament than DeJounte Murray was in. Lonnie Walker, another thing about him too that we kind of forget about, and I think part of the reason why DeJounte Murray got so much leeway, with certain things, is because of that injury that he endured, like that crazy, terrible, awful injury he endured during the 2018-2019 season. And a lot of us sat back and said, okay, we're gonna give him a shot. He really needs to get better. He needs to heal and everything. But people forget that Lonnie Walker, he suffered injuries during college, and those injuries have messed him up mentally. Now I don't mean messed up like, oh my God, he just can't play, he's not aggressive at all. No, but it has messed him up as far as his aggression, as far as his mentality going into games, where people say, oh my goodness, is Lonnie Walker not confident and he doesn't believe in his ability to play. No, I think that sometimes with Lonnie Walker, he holds back. Some of the reasons why we see, and this is just my speculation, okay? I think some of the reasons why we see Lonnie Walker not go up for those monstrous dunks that he's very capable of doing is because of those injuries that he endured previously. And if you keep that in mind and you look at his career thus far, which has only been 3 seasons and a half, 3 seasons, a little bit more than a half, you will see that, no, it's actually pretty impressive where he came from. The fact that even his first year as a rookie, only played 17 games, right? And he's had some injuries. Only 17 games, 2.6 to 6.4 to 11.2. And his minutes have increased, pretty much, ever since, except for this season. But overall, I think that he needs the same benefit of the doubt because he's went through some injuries. He's been through some things as well. So look, I'm not going to be just really mean towards Lonnie. I really thought about this because I didn't necessarily just want to keep flip-flopping on my opinion on this. And I'm not going to base it. Look, and I'm just going to stick with it, okay? Because honestly, even if Lonnie Walker for the remainder of the season is inconsistent and he's all over the place, I still think that 8 to 10 million is more than worth it for Lonnie. And I think that we'll still have enough, cap space to sign somebody bigger. Like, we'll still have enough room. I don't think that he'll necessarily be taking up anybody's space, if we just went ahead and kept him. So those are my thoughts on it. I know I kind of went on a kind of tirade, but I really want to just talk about it because Lonnie, I think we've been a little unfair, and especially me. I've been unfair when it comes to Lonnie. So you guys let me know what you think. This is a long video, but yeah, you guys let me know what you think. I'll get with you later. Until next time, deuces.